Hello and welcome to round 11 of Invictus Racing League's F2 Championship. I'm your commentator, H-Racing Green, once again live from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the penultimate round of the championship, round 11, the Mexican Grand Prix. The championship battle hots up as we head into the second to last round, and we have 4 drivers, I believe, still within contention for the crown. And so we get underway for qualifying, which will decide the starting grid for the second to last race of the season. Who we've got heading out? That was a Sauber. We only have one Sauber this time, the only Sauber being Tactics. Woods Cod will not be attending the final 2 races of the season, which is unfortunate. But the remaining Sauber, I'm sure, will continue the incredibly solid effort that team has put together in the second half of this season. Really, really impressive. Also out on track, we have got key championship contender Notorious LIP in the Ferrari, who is contending with Mike in the Mercedes and Delange in the Haas for this title, with Craig in the McLaren also in contention as well. But we will just have to see how things go to see if the championship battle could get even closer as the season comes to a close. See if we've got anyone on a flying lap yet. No, but we have got Kilo who's coming round. Let's open the Tactics, sorry, not Kilo. We're going to go with the telemetry. Sorry, there we go, we've sorted that. Into the first corner he comes. Closes the DRS down to third gear for that one. Clips all 3 apexes of the first sector nicely and gets on the power early, opening DRS. That was a very solid opening to the lap. He's got to spot his braking zone just before the 100 metre ball, turns in, clips that apex really nicely as well. We'll change down to, no, yeah, there we go, just down to second for that one. So Spud gets out of the way nicely. Third gear for the double right-hander, probably sensible. Second gear drags the car a little bit. Holds it in 5th for that corner, surprising. Through this left, it's his right hander, doesn't use all the road available to him on the left hand side and uses too much road on the right hand side on the exit there, but I don't think that's an invalidation at this circuit, so he should be alright. Into the tricky stadium section, that reprofiled right hander from last year, much more challenging a corner now. This stadium section also been slightly reprofiled. Sheepy sets a provisional pole position lap time of a 16.9. I think we're going to be seeing that beaten by a few drivers. Yeah, that's a 116.8 from Tactics straight away, so he takes provisional pole position, but I don't think he'll be staying there. Nitric Ash is on these super soft tyres, so let's see what he can do. The only car not on the softest compound of the ultra soft. Hulkenberger does a 17 flat there to go provisionally third. There we go, more times coming in now, but Notorious championship contender in 5th, now down to 6th, been beaten by Clyde there. No one, Delange, there he goes, that's a 16.4. One of the main contenders in this championship, setting the pace. And Nitric Ash comes in, so those supers clearly not working for him. And in come the drivers. Is anyone out? Milan Pop is going to cross the line, and Miles has retired. Miles has crashed on the exit of the second sector, and that is a disaster for the Toro Rosso driver. Once more he will be starting from the back of the field. He joined late. He replaced Narayan at Toro Rosso, and Narayan moved up to the F1 tier. He replaced, Milan Pop extends the exit of turn 3 immensely there. As we're saying, Miles replaced Narayan when Narayan moved up to the to the top F1 tier. Having actually driven in the F2 League previously for Red Bull last season, so he's done a bit of a Danny Kvyat and gone from Red Bull to Toro Rosso. But he hasn't really had great form. I think one of the things he needs to work on is just getting to the ends of sessions. I think he's crashed out of qualifying every time so far, or every time but one, I think. So, and he's had okay pace in the race. It's not like he's a slow driver. I think just the consistency 4 miles is something he needs to work on. But his Toro Rosso teammate here, Milan Pop, on a flying lap, comes around that final corner. The immense orange curve's really annoying at this track. He comes across the line. It's a 17.2, but he does not go on the sheet, so that was invalidated. That would have been enough for 6th place for him, actually, so that's probably quite disappointing that he didn't manage to pull that off. Let's see, Mike is on a lap. Championship contender Mike misses that apex there. He is on a flyer into the double right-hander. Misses that apex a little bit, doesn't quite get the exit he might have wanted. Through the middle sector he comes, uses a bit more road than... as he's cut the corner, Miles is left. So he's clearly had enough of that. The yellow in sector 1, not quite sure what that's for. Through this final right-hander, now opening it out onto the start-finish straight, this event start-finish straight, and Mike goes 4th fastest, 4 tenths off of Delange. GP is in second with a 16.6, following his strong debut in China last time out. Craig is in 3rd there with a 16.8, and Mike slots in behind him nicely there. Is anyone else on a flying lap? I think Nitrogash might be. Yeah, there he comes then. Starts his flying lap, opens the DRS. He's on the Ultra Softs now, so clearly not feeling the Super Softs were the good enough tyre. Well, misses that apex by quite a long way and doesn't quite get the run out of the corner he'll want. Opens DRS as he heads out onto the onto the second straight. Brakes just 400 metres, gets a wheel on the curb, trying to open that corner out a bit more. Takes that quite nicely, but taps the steering on exit, compromises his line through the right-hander. Now through these double rights, takes a little bit too much curve on the inside, but it's not hurt him too much. Might cost him a little bit of time there. Doesn't use all the road on the right-hand side on entry, and that's compromised his run through there as well. He's missed that. Oh dear. Oh my word. Not the fastest run through that middle sector for Nitrogash. Unfortunately, missed quite a few apexes, compromising his line. So his tricky right-hander, not too bad through there. Now he's got to spot his braking point for this tight left-hand hairpin. Miles has rejoined. Well, that's good then. So hopefully we'll see him start the race, albeit from the back of the field. But here comes Nitrogash around to finish his lap. He comes across the line. It is a 1:17.8. That keeps him 11th. Slowest of the drivers to a set of time. But there is still 3 minutes left in the session. I think he's going for another lap actually, but we'll head to someone else. Let's head to Kilo. This is. Why is Kilo in the... Kilo's in the Haas. He was in the Williams, he's now in the Haas. So he's got himself a constructor's title to win now. Here he comes in, heading towards the first corner, brakes just before 100-metre board, turns in, holds it in 4th, which is interesting, down to 3rd for the second part, loses the rear end a little bit, compromises his line through the final right-hand section of the chicane at the start of the lap. Heading along the back straight, braking hard, looking for that apex, locks up a little bit, keeps it in 3rd, that's surprising, compromises his line again through these switchbacks at this track, loses the rear a touch. Nothing too major, quite cautious through there. It's through this left-hander, he's going to want full commitment. We're all pretty committed, but not too bad. He's going very cautious. Is this the flying lap? I think it is. Locks up. 4th gear through there, a lot of drivers opting for 4th. Gives a second for that one, gets a really tight line, which actually helps his run through the rest of that section, which is good. He's going to come around, and it is going to be, he's P8 at the moment. It's not good enough. He's, what was a 118.1, so that's interesting. Let's take a look at the championship contender, Notorious LIP. He is not on a flying lap, though, so not a lot of point watching him. How about Dan Gibbo? He is running out of fuel. Tactics has jumped his way up into second place. That's a 16.5. Very nice from him, and that has actually bumped Craig and Mike, the championship contenders, down to 5th and 6th. Hulkenberger coming in 4th as well. Notorious is down in 9th there. The championship leader, he's got a 4-point lead over Delange. Thank you, both pits. We're going to run with Notorious, I think, actually, as he sets his final flying lap with only 50 seconds left in the session. He's got the Mercedes of Mike, I think that is ahead of him. It could be Sir Spud, actually. And onto the flying lap he goes then. Let's ride on board. Nitrogash is out. He has retired. And Notorious with a 17.6, 1.2 seconds off of his closest championship rival, has it all to do. Clyde in 8th has retired as well. Through the first chicane he comes, he's trying to open that corner out as much as he can, changes up into a 4th, he gets a really nice run out of there. It's going to be along this straight, opening DRS. He's going to spot his braking zone, does not want to overshoot this corner because it really hurts your time in the middle sector, does that nicely, hits that apex nicely as well, uses second gear to drift the car, doesn't quite get the exit he'll want. Takes a very tight line through the right-handers, tries to get on the power as early as he can, that's through the left. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him, but I think he's not in danger of catching him. Sheepy goes top of 16.4, denies Delange pole position for this Mexican Grand Prix. That could be key in the championship battle. There is that Mercedes. That Mercedes pulls off. That was not a, was that a Mercedes? No. I don't know. Through the left-hander in the stadium section, through the right, and now down into the final right-hander. It's going to extend. He's going to want to run as quick as he can through this final part of the lap. He comes across the line. Notorious LIP goes 5th fastest. He's 3/10 behind the pole position time, but that puts him ahead of Craig and Mike, which is key. Craig not on a lap, he's run out of fuel. Mike, yeah, pulled off the track. This is Sir Spud. He is down in 9th at the moment on 17.1. He's 11 seconds off the pace, so that's not going to be any more for him. And I think that's it. Jamie Met, the other Ferrari's cut the hell out of that. Oh, he's on an in lap. That's fine. So I think we have got everything. Jamie Met sets an 18th flat, and he is last of the cars who have set a time. That is not great. Notorious has been pushed down to 6th. Milan Pop has gone 5th there with a 16.6. And so, there you have it. I'm going to wait for qualifying to tick down. But championship leaders spread across the field. It is worth noting that there are only 4 drivers in contention. It is Notorious, Delange, Mike and Craig, the top 4 in the championship, who are in contention for the title. None of them... the stipulations that will allow Notorious to win the championship, Notorious is the only driver who could win the championship, is if he wins and Delange scores 2 points or less, I believe. Or no, Delange scores less than 2 points. And that is effectively the only way Notorious can win. If he finishes second, Delange needs to not score. That is the only 2 ways that Notorious can win the title at this round. And looking at the qualifying results, it is not looking likely. I mean, it's not to say it couldn't happen, but at the moment, it's not looking likely. Earlier in the week, there was a press conference with the F2 drivers. They had a few questions asked. asking about their priorities in the title. And what they are aiming for in these final 2 races. But there you go, that is your qualifying result. It's Sheepy on pole, Delange, Tactics, Hulkenberg and Milan-Pop in the top 5. Championship leader is 6th with Craig in 7th. Mike is 8th, Sir Spud 9th, Kilo is 10th, Clyde, Gibbo, Nitrogash, Jamie Met and Miles with no time at the back of the grid. And so here we are, building up to the penultimate race of the season. So we wait for the drivers to organise their strategies, get themselves ready for the race. Here we are then, on the formation lap. They go away on only his 2nd race. Sheepy is on pole. A great effort from the Williams driver there. And one that he can hopefully carry on to a win here, perhaps, if he plays it right. Let's take a look at the tyres that we are looking at in this race. There you are then, top 10 of course on ultra softs. Those are the tyres they qualified on. Clyde going for the soft tyres in 11th there. Dan Gibbo opts for the ultra softs as well in 12th there, a fresh set of ultra softs, so he can be making up places early on with that strategy decision. Is 2 more soft tyre choices from Nitrogash and Jamie, and Miles has opted for supers there in 15th place. I'm going to take a look back down the field. A new rule stipulated this weekend that drivers on the formation lap must not exceed 10 car lengths to the car ahead, as we've had a few problems in recent races with drivers holding each other up and making the other drivers wait on the grid. And therefore the new rule has stipulated that huge gaps are not allowed to form. And it would appear that drivers are all sticking to that at the moment. Around comes Sheepy then, ready to take his position at the front of the grid for this Mexican Grand Prix. Great effort from him. The 2nd place man in the championship starts 2nd place on the grid, on the dirty side of the grid. He is going to want to get the best start and lead into turn 1. Tactics, the Sol Sauber on the grid, starts 3rd, and Hulkenberg with a really strong 4th place. Milan-Pop also strong in 5th there. The championship leader is 6th in his Ferrari. Craig and Mike 7th and 8th. Mike saying in the press conference qualifying pace his weak point, and that was demonstrated in qualifying. But there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away they go. It is a great start for Hulkenberger, actually. He's attacking the Sauber. He's going to be attacking Delange as well now. Delange is looking up the inside as they head into turn 1. The Sauber gets forced onto the grass. Oh, and there's a huge contact. That is Hulkenberger and Milan-Pop, I think, there. Getting caught up together, smashing into the wall. And that has promoted Notorious and Mike into 4th and 5th. Great start from Mike there. But Hulkenberger and Milan-Pop, after 2 really strong qualifying performances, have dropped out early on. There's a battle here. Look, all the championship leaders are converging already. Craig up to 6th. Delange goes all the way around the outside of the double right-hander. Great move that. And Notorious is about to take 3rd from Tactics, it would appear, if he can hold on to this through the middle sector. Tactics runs completely off the circuit. Mike there in 5th as well. He is going to be hunting down. Oh, there's almost contact between the McLaren and the Mercedes there. But Delange leads as we head into the stadium section for the first time. Looking further down the field, Kilo, Gibbo have both made great starts, benefiting from the misfortunes of other drivers. Nitric Ash, Jamie Met holding station. It's Hulkenberger and Malampop who have lost out the most, though, all the way down from 4th and 5th down to 14th and 15th, thanks to that immense contact on the run into the first corner. So Delange leads by just over a second from Sheepy in the Williams. Tactics is third. Notorious has made his way up to 4th. While Mike is running in 5th with Craig hot on his heels. Kilo, so Spud passes Dan Gibbo for P8 there into the first corner. He gets that move done. Good work from the Mercedes driver to pass the Force India early on. Looking back there, Clyde, Nitric Ash, Malampop and Hulkenberger all having to pit, so double stacks from Red Bull. There's a battle up ahead. It's Craig looking at Mike, who in turn is looking at Notorious LIP, and it would appear that Tactics has a little bit of extra pace. He's pulling away from Notorious in these early stages. He's hounding Sheepy, but it looks like Delange has great speed in this early phase. He's 1.4 seconds ahead already, and we're only a lap and a half in, so really solid stuff. Craig not getting the best run through that complex of corners, actually. Dropped a little bit to the Mercedes driver ahead. Look back the view from Kilo. He is just viewing these championship leaders battling. Oh, as Mike's had a look at the inside of Notorious, compromised his line, has lost the rear end. Going to leave him vulnerable to Craig along this huge front straight, which soon will have DRS enabled the next time around. Craig actually possibly a little bit too far away at this point to be making a move, but he will certainly be thinking about making a pass on his championship rival. Craig is 13 points off the championship lead, so he is certainly the outsider for the title at this stage, but anything can happen. But you certainly won't be making overtakes missing the first corner apex like that. And once again, Mike really hot on the heels of Notorious, who is now a second and a half behind Tactics. Delange is looking to be about a second a lap faster than Sheepy, and I think Tactics is faster than Sheepy himself, actually. So the pole sitter possibly not with great pace early on. Let's take a look a little further down the field. We've got Kilo 7th, it's Surspad in 8th, and he has got Dan Gibbo right on his heels, so this battle for 9th. Certainly is a fierce one. Oh, Dan making the corner incredibly shallow, trying to look for any way past Surspad, but actually compromised his run through that section of corners. And he is really looking for any way past, which is interesting. He clearly feels like he's got superior pace, but Surspad has actually pulled away there in that final sector. As, Craig, Notorious and Mike have dropped down the field. What's happened there? Ah, no, here we go. There was clearly a battle going on. There's now a battle going on between the second, third and fourth drivers in the championship. I'm glad we've just switched back to that. There's double DRS for Craig and Mike. He's going to pull alongside Notorious. He's going to go up the inside, brakes late. Will the McLaren get the cutback? He runs slightly off the circuit. Craig repasses him. The Ferrari looking to go around the outside, and wide word. Mike gets completely forced off the circuit. Notorious gets completely forced off the circuit by Mike. Nitric Ash retires. But what an incredible battle between the three championship protagonists. All really close together. And we have a great fight on our hands. Notorious has lost out immensely there because he got forced off the circuit. And now he's behind Kilo, who in turn is battling with Craig, actually. Not Craig, sorry, Mike. Really quite close together. As we head along the front straight now, he's going to open DRS. I think he's a little bit too far away to make a pass. And we've got yellows in sector 1, so any overtaking is, of course, prohibited. Into the first corner, Mike cuts that, and it's really, he's run way too fast into there. It's really compromised his line. It's allowed Kilo right onto the back of him again. He's closer, but it's still too far away, I think. looking at the rest of the field, no other changes. Really, Notorious LIP still 7th, not managing to catch back up to Kilo particularly. Let's take a look. Tactics is still on the back of Sheepy, not quite as close as he was. But he is really going to be wanting making that pass pretty soon. Onto the front straight. He's got DRS. He's a little bit too far away to make a pass, although he is getting closer. Will he try the dive bomb? No, he backs out of it. He'll be looking to get a good run through this section of corners, try and get the exit. There he goes. Sheepy's made an error, but he's actually made such a massive error that he's held up Tactics and forced him to cut the corner. Mike has got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting out that first section. Oh, looking at the inside, the Salbridge going to try the cut back through this right-hander. Oh, he's tried it, but he's lost the rear end. Oh, and he spun. That has not worked at all. I think he almost made contact with the back of the Williams there and has just spun, and he's bottled 3rd place. He's down to 6 now. It's allowed Kilo through. Mike and Craig are close together again. Really strange behaviours from a lot of these drivers, running really not that fast into corners, but completely overshooting them, having huge 4-wheel drift. Craig is now up to 3rd with Mike up to 4th. This is not ideal for Notorious. He's now down to 8th. He's dropped behind Sir Spud as well. And all his championship rivals are gaining. Craig pits, and now that is big because he is going to get that undercut. But as we saw, that early pit stop in China didn't pay off for him. The 2 stops actually he went for, thanks to the early pit stop, did not help. And he ended up having to fight his way through the field and never regained the position he had originally. So let's see if it pays off here. Tactics has also gone for that. He's gone for the super softs. I think the rest of these drivers will be staying out a long time, looking to go onto the softs and do the one-stop strategy. As we've seen, it's not that easy to make a pass here. Right with Kilo, who's got good pace despite qualifying 10th. He appears to actually be right on the money with the championship contenders, which is interesting. Not really something I expected to see, to be honest. I mean, based off of his qualifying position, a top 4, top 5 contention slot is not what I thought we'd be seeing from him. Quite a few 3-second time penalties being awarded here, thanks to the nature of the chicanes in the 1st and 2nd sectors. Well, and in the middle sector, through the final sector as well, actually, it's you can cut as well. Mike, oh, huge slide from Kilo. He almost slid himself into the pits there, but thankfully manages to hold on to the car. Looking down the field, all the drivers are fairly spread out. Miles up to 7th on the super soft. Obviously, he's only 2 seconds off the back of Notorious, who has to make as many stops as he does. So this has been a good drive from Miles so far. If he can keep this consistency up, like I said, if he can just work on his consistency, then I'm sure he could be scoring some points this evening. But he does, of course, have the Force India of Dan Gibbo right up behind him, and I think he will be a severe threat. And there you go, as Miles runs wide there, tries to close the door as he goes through the double right. It does not work, and Dan Gibbo makes a very smooth move up the inside to take 7th place on a set of Ultra Softs that equally as old as Miles, but seemingly holding their pace quite well for the Force India driver here. So that's good to see. Although, of course, if he understeers through the first corner like that, through those corners like that, sorry, he is going to be coming under pressure again from the car he just passed. Up behind them, the 2nd Ferrari of Jamie Met, after a really disappointing qualifying for him. He is on a fight-back mission. Started on the softs, has continued on the softs. I imagine we'll be going for the one-stop. Sheepy pits then, and he goes on to a set of super soft tyres. Now that means he must be going for the two-stop as well, and that's interesting that he's opted to stay out for so long when he's going for a two-stop. We'll have to see how that plays out for him. He's come out ahead of Tactics. I mean, Tactics spun, and after having been right on the back of Sheepy, and look at the state of the undercut here, my word! I mean, he's regained, what, 5-6 seconds in that pit stop phase, from the lap he's spun to the lap he's just rejoined the circuit, both having made a stop. That is incredible. Craig is 3 seconds behind Tactics though, not quite got the pace on these supers perhaps, does the McLaren driver. Delange has got a 10-second lead, and as I say that, he has just hit. Let's take a look at the second place man in the championship's pit stop. He comes in, he has gone for supers as well. A lot of drivers opting for supers, going for the two-stop strategy. So the Mercedes now hold a 1-2. I think Mike is going for the one-stop. We've seen Mike has great tyre wear. We saw it last time out in China. I think we're going to see it again, because he is the longest ultra-soft runner, or the longest of the ultra-soft runners who qualified on their tyres. And he has his 13 seconds to Delange, and Delange is going to need to make all of that up in these laps if Mike is going for that one stop. So I am actually going to switch to Mike. He's got green on his pit board, or pit indicator, so he can come in whenever he likes. Oh, and I think that might be the time, because he is making all sorts of mistakes. Those tyres are completely gone. Hulkenberg gets a 3-second time penalty. The four-wheel drifts are extremely real in that Mercedes. He's going to come into the final sector. Oh, the rear end is all over the shop there. You can see how much his car was sort of rotating into the corner. He catches a slide. Surely he's going to come in. He does not. He's 1.3 seconds down on his fastest lap. I think he must come in this lap, surely, because he's really dropping time to his teammate behind. And actually, 25 laps on the soft tyres when he's got 11 on the ultras really isn't that much of an ask, really. And at the moment now he's just costing himself time, because there's 10.9 seconds to Delange, who really is the guy he needs to beat to have a fight in this championship. Notorious, the championship leader, down in 11th. I fear he will be losing his championship lead at this round, and to be behind heading into the final round of the championship is going to be tough for him to come back from, I feel. But we'll have to see. He's had some flashes of brilliance in this season that have allowed him to be in this position to be fighting for the title in a four-way battle. And it is Singapore next time out. I haven't mentioned that. Singapore will host the final round of the championship, and being a street circuit, it is difficult to pass there. So really, and we haven't really had a circuit. I mean, only these last two, and the last two circuits on the calendar are hard ones to pass at. So it could be very interesting indeed. He stays out. He stays out. He's actually not lost that much time to Delange that lap, but to Sir Spurd he's lost about half a second. So 24 laps on a set of softs really isn't bad when he's gone 12 on a set of ultras, unless he's planning to do super soft, which I really don't, I would not understand personally. I think were I fighting for a title here at the Mexican Grand Prix, I'd want to be playing it safe and running the safe one stop, not risking the one stop, but we'll see. I mean, he's lost half a second in the first sector, so it's not... The tyres are not in good shape. You can see they're drifting round the corner, rotating the car with the gear shift and the worn rear tyres. Has to really hesitate getting on the power. Comes into the middle sector. He's not even taking a quarter 100 miles an hour. And he is just bleeding time. He's lost nearly 2 seconds on this lap already to Delange, and Delange's two-stop could be paying off if Mike holds this pace up. His end of stint pace is not great, and if he's planning to run on the super softs later on, he is going to be a sitting duck against 2 stock cars on fresh tyres. It really is, and in he comes at last. Oh, he's got to be careful not to get a stop-go penalty going into there, but there he goes, he's in the pits. His teammate passes him, so his teammate Spud somehow staying out. And he's gone for the soft, so he stayed out all that time and he's gone for the softs. Oh my word, Mike. I feel like Mike has cost himself a lot there, but we'll have to see. I mean, he's dropped 10th. He's going to come out possibly 11th behind Melampop. No, there we go. Now Melampop pits, I see. Okay, so Melampop on his recovery drivers now is making a second stop. I imagine he'll go for soft tyres, go to the end, and try and start making some progress. No, he's gone for the supers. Okay, ignore me then. Let's take a look at Miles, who's come from 15th to 2nd in 13 laps. He's averaged a position a lap so far. So a mighty fine effort from the Toro Rosso driver. I think he'll be coming in soon though, because those tyres not looking in great nick in that middle sector. Sliding around all over the shop. No wonder Steer's nearly flat off the circuit through that right-hander. And he's actually got Delange right on the back of him now. And Sir Spud is in. Okay, so Sir Spud follows his teammate in a lap later. And now we have Delange versus Miles for the lead of the race. I feel like this is not going to be a particularly hard-fought battle. Miles is on 14-lap-old supers, whilst Delanges are only 6 or 7 laps old. No, 3 or 4 laps old, sorry. Here comes Delange then. He's gained 3/10 in that section of corners alone. As we head into this tricky Mickey Mouse section, Tactics has been passed by Sheepy. Jamie Met is in third, he's not stopped yet either on the soft tyres. I'm just going to take a look here. There's a really close battle. We had this battle before. Now he's not spun at that corner this time, and I really don't know what to look at here, because we've got the championship contenders. We've got championship contender battling for the lead and a really close fought battle for 4th place. Miles makes a mistake there, runs wide on the exit of the left-hander at the end of that sector. Is Delange going to aim to get the move done into this final stadium section? He does. He's going to force him a little bit wide. He gets the move done. Miles possibly going to try and outbrake him into this section. Attempts it, cannot get it done. He's going to be vulnerable to Jamie Met. And I'm actually going to follow with these two now as they head onto the start-finish straight. I think Delange has got that move done, because he'll get a great run off the final corner. Here we go then, Sauber behind the Williams driver. He's going to tuck in behind him, use Rich Mix, open the DRS. He's gaining, he's in the slipstream, he's gaining 200 miles an hour hit, 203, 4, oh he's sweet, oh my word, he swerves out, ends up weaving, nearly loses the car, brakes so early. I feel like he could have had that move done there if he hadn't done that. Sheepy getting a slightly better run through that corner as well as a result, because having to run side by side with that compromised Tactics line. Is he going to go out the inside? He's having a look, but no, doesn't quite go for it. Oh, loses the rear end a touch. He does not want to recreate that mistake from earlier, so that might be why he's going a little bit cautious. Through the left, and then the right, then the long left here. It's a quick switchback, then right and left out onto this short little straight section where the circuit used to go. It would carry on straight and do a big round oval section at the end. Sheepy makes an error there as they head into the right hand, and that's the stadium section. It is nose to tail through here. Sheepy getting a better run than the Sauber through there that time around, and again through the final corner. So as Miles pits there, we're going to run on the outboard, because we now see that Craig is gaining on the back of these guys. All the while Tactics is getting caught up behind the Williams. The McLaren driver is really coming into contention for this 4th place, or 3rd place I should say, sorry. And that could really be key. and I am going to ride with Craig here because he has got the best view of the battle for third and could be getting involved in it very soon. He's going to go up the inside from so far back. He doesn't quite get the move done. Is he going to look up the inside of the double right? Oh, he was thinking about it, but doesn't quite go for it. He's going to have to wait now. You have to sit behind in formation through this sweeping middle sector before he gets another chance into the final sector, or indeed back on the first straight again. Oh, in the dirty air, he's losing a bit of time. There's the McLaren car understeering. Oh, his tactics slides weirdly sideways into the wall. Sheepy actually ran across onto the right, almost going defensive, which was interesting. As they head now nose to tail, 3 of them in a row through the stadium section. Craig using all the available road on the inside there. He's going to get a really great exit off of the final corner. Crosses the line, he's right up behind the Sauber now. He's going to have better slipstream on the Sauber than the Sauber does on the Williams. Here he comes up the inside. I think Craig is going to have this 4th place. As they head into the first corner, he goes alongside, he goes past, he overshoots the corner slightly, he blocks off the cutback from Tactics, and Tactics has to concede 4th place. He's down to 5th. That is unfortunate for Tactics. He has gone from fighting for 4th to dropping to 5th, fighting for 3rd, sorry, to dropping to 5th place, and I think Craig is going to be having Sheepy up next for 3rd, which will turn to 2nd when Jamie makes his stop. Of course, all these guys will have to make another stop, I think. So, Jamie could be in contention with these guys later on. We just really don't know. Mike is 14 seconds off of the race leader. So, not quite a pit stop behind of these guys. Craig gets a time penalty for multiple warnings, cuts that corner, gets a warning for it, gets a 3-second penalty for it. It really is all about strategy here, because I don't know how these drivers are all gonna reform when we get to lap 36. And they're all fighting for genuine position right at the end. We have hit the halfway mark in this race. 18 laps of 36 will be completed at the end of this one, as Sheepy and Craig are closing in on the Ferrari of Jamie Met for 2nd position. Jamie 5.8 seconds behind race leader Delange. Delange has had an absolutely dominant display so far in this race. Oh, we've got a battle there. Sorry, I looked away for a second. We've actually got Tactics, who is all over the back of Craig once again. So Craig making an error in the middle sector there, because I don't quite see why that would have happened. Otherwise, but we have got one almighty DRS train to deal with here. We've got Sheepy with DRS on Jamie Met, and Craig is going to have DRS on Sheepy, and Tactics will have DRS on Craig. Does Kilo have DRS as well? Yes, he does. So, quite the battle we've got here. I am actually going to skip ahead to Craig's point of view. Or in fact, no, I'm going to go for Sheepy's point of view, because he is all over the back of the Ferrari for 2nd position. Can the Williams make the move? He's going to look... Oh, Jamie Met just sticking his car in the middle of the circuit there. Not really leaving any room on either side to make a pass. Sheepy gets a 3-second time penalty, trying to cut the corner on the cup. Oh, Craig! From out of nowhere comes the McLaren driver, as Sheepy actually backed out of that move, and he's taken wing damage there. Sheepy actually backed out of that move, having cut the corner, got the penalty, got the warning, felt as if that was unjust that he would make a pass from that, and backed out of the corner. Craig threw one up the inside, probably left with absolutely nowhere to go, bashed into the side of the Williams, broke the Williams wing. I don't know if he's broken his own wing, actually. May well have done, because he's understeering quite a lot there. Lets the Williams back through. He's now coming under even more pressure from Tactics. He stays out, so it's clearly not too bad a damage wing, but he's dropped 1.3 seconds behind Sheepy, and he's got Tactics right behind him, who I feel will be making a move pretty soon. He's looking up the inside. Is he going to go for it? He does not. Sheepy is actually... Oh, my word. Tactics gets another penalty from cutting the corner. Sheepy is right on the back of Jamie again. I mean, he's definitely faster than the Ferrari driver. Delange has disappeared up to 8.7 seconds now. But he's definitely faster than the Ferrari driver, which is understandable. Ferrari driver on old softs, whereas Sheepy are much fresher supers, although those supers will be wearing pretty soon. But look how much he's caught him in just a lap following that incident. He's right on the back of the Ferrari again, but he will not make a pass if he keeps missing apexes like that. Gets caught on the curb, loses the rear. But it doesn't really drop in much time to Jamie, who is clearly struggling on those worn tyres. Craig is right on the back of Sheepy again, and Sheepy's wing, I think, yeah, Sheepy's wing damage is hurting him, because I'm just going to take a little outboard view. Are there bits of that wing missing? Oh, there might not be, actually. It might just be... I think he has got a touch of wing damage, it's just not visual. I think that's what we've got there. So we could be seeing a steward's inquiry for that move. We'll have to see after the race. Craig opening DRS, then he's tucked into the slipstream of the Williams. Tactics pit, so he's going to go to the end now, I guess, on a set of supers as well. Craig not making the move that time around, not quite feeling like he's close enough. I'm going to switch back to Sheepy's point of view as he is tucked in underneath the rear wing of Jamie Met. He's going to look to the inside. He's surely going to go for the move this time. At the inside he goes, brakes a little bit earlier than I was expecting him to. Goes alongside the Ferrari. This is Mexican Grand Prix 2015 flashbacks. There's a little bit of contact. Jamie concedes the position, and concedes the position to Craig as well, actually. So that's interesting. These guys now 11 seconds behind Delange, really losing time, getting caught up in this battle. Notorious is up to 6 thanks to the pit stop from Tactics. He's gone to another set of supers. I think Sheepy does have wing damage. The amount of time he lost through those long corners really does indicate wing damage to me. And I think these guys will be making stops for a second set of supers to go to the end pretty soon. Kilo gets a 3-second time penalty, and I think a lot of these positions, while they are battling, are going to come down to time penalties. People really racking up the punishments, and Craig comes into the pits. Let's see if he got damage. He's not going to want to get a time penalty getting a 5-second stop go going into that pit lane there, as there is a crew out for a Ferrari as well. It's Jamie Met. He goes from his soft tyres. Okay, so there's no wing damage, or not severe enough wing damage for Craig to warrant a front wing. He goes on to a fresh set of supers. He's going to go to the end. He drops to 9th position, and he has got it all to do in the last 15 laps of this race. He is going to be on an absolute charge. He's got core Tactics coming up right behind him. We're going to switch to Tactics. Craig actually got DRS from the car ahead before he went into the pits. He's going to have the Sauber to defend from. The Sauber not going for the move that time around. He's looking for the cutback. Craig doesn't get a great exit off of that corner, but he will have DRS, whereas the Sauber won't. And he is just going to be able to pull away, hold on to that position, unless the Sauber goes for a bizarre dive bomb into the left-hander here. He does not. But he does cut that, and that is that for now. I'm going to switch to... I'm just going to take a look at Sheepy, because I think he will be coming into the pits. He runs off the circuit. 13 seconds to Delange now. So these guys have fallen away from Delange, whereas Notorious has actually kept pace. Notorious and Mike have actually kept pace with him. But I think Mike actually, I mean, after my criticism of his ultra soft tyre strategy earlier, Delange in the pits as well could actually be in the hot seat. Mike right on the back of Gilo. I lied. How short is this pit lane? Dangiver gets a 5-second stop go. Sheepy and Notorious are going to come out nose to tail. I'm going to switch to Craig. Craig passes Sheepy by quite a way, and so does Tactics. And I think Jamie Met's going to get him as well. Yes, so Sheepy, again, he was fighting well in his debut last time out and fell down the field in the later stages, and it looks like it's happened again. As I was saying... Oh no, sorry, I've got all my cars mixed up. Yes, there you go. Mike is ahead of Delange by just over 5 seconds. And he's got his teammate behind him to act as rear gunner. for the time being. So that has really worked well for Mike, but he's got to defend that position for the last 13 laps, of course, and Delange is on much fresher, much softer tyres that are going to be aiding him in banging in, what would imagine will now be 13 qualifying laps. Kilo leads the race on the super soft tyre. He's dropping a little bit of time to Mike there. I think his tyres are really wearing out. I think he'll be coming into the pits pretty soon. Yeah, there he is, into the pits he comes. Yellow in sector 2, what is that for? Is anyone dropping down the field? No. So, nothing to worry about there, it wouldn't seem. As Miles pits as well, Jamie gets a 3-second time penalty to stop for corner cutting. Miles is in the pits as well, he is 7th, he's gone into a fresh set of super softs to go to the end. He's 10th, he could be 11th when he comes out the pits. But from 15th to a point to paying position is not bad at all. Notorious is down in 8th, so that is a disaster for the championship leader. Because if Mike or Delange win, well, I'm going to take a look at the results here. I'm going to do a quick bit of mental maths. It's 12 points for a win here, so we've got a yellow in sector 1. What's that for? That is Clyde retiring from the race. So if Mike wins, he and Notorious scores 3 points there. Mike will take the championship lead by 3 points from Notorious, and he will overtake Delange as well because he will outscore him by 4 points. So Mike will take the championship lead heading into the final race if the race finishes like this, with Delange second, with Notorious second and Delange third, I believe. Oh no, it could actually be Delange second and Notorious third. I think Notorious could be dropping 2 positions here. He's only scoring 2 points now. He's been passed by Kilo. So it's really a disaster for Notorious LIP as Craig sets the fastest lap of the race. It's quite hard to do mental maths and commentate at the same time. We're going to follow Delange now on the back of Sir Spurt, and this is key for Delange. This is really important because he really only wants to drop. He wants to drop as few points as he possibly can. And he has caught up to 2.2 seconds behind Mike for the race lead. And I think the one-stop strategy might not be paying off for Mike. I think he lost too much time on the ultras at the end of that first stint, and it has allowed, over time, it has allowed his race time to just go up a little bit and has allowed Delange to catch up. If Delange does get second, I mean, if he gets the win, then really Mike is going to have it all to do. In this position, with Craig 4th, he needs to outscore Notorious, and he will do that. And I think he'll just keep himself in contention. He really will have an outside shot at the title heading into the final round, but I think he will just about hold on to it. I'll need to double check on that. Craig is 4th. As he opens DRS, then does Delange. He's going to go along the front straight, tucks under the DRS of Sir Spud. There's a yellow in sector 2 and 3. Miles is out. The saying he is having a strong race, but he is. That is unfortunate. It is Haas versus Mercedes then, back at the front. And I'm going to do some really quick mental math. So it's 12 points for a win, 10 for second, 8 for third, and 7 for fourth. So Craig will score 7 points. That'll put him on 55 points. That'll put him in level with Mike's current points tally. And with Notorious scoring 2 points, he'll be 8 points behind Notorious, so he will still have a chance at the title, I believe. Delange scores 12 here. No, Craig will need to beat Delange and Mike really to hold on to that championship contention. Yes, yeah, there we go. For Craig to still be in championship contention, he will need to beat Mike and Delange. Really, or I think that is the only real solution to Craig's championship woes, as he is not woes, I suppose, his championship contention, as he is 13 points off the lead. But here you go, Delange has used DRS, he's pulled up alongside the Mercedes of Sir Spud, and he's gone so cautious into the first corner. He had that move absolutely done if he braked about 20 metres later, but he didn't, and he's still stuck behind the Mercedes. Sir Spud is really, really earning his Mercedes paycheck, acting as the ultimate rear gunner for Mike, reducing the number of laps that Mike has actually got to defend from Delange for. Oh, as he spin, I say that, and I'm absolutely, commentators cursed him, but there's been contact. Sir Spud has spun out, and Delange has had nowhere to go. He's hit the back of the Mercedes. He's lost a huge chunk of front wing, and all of a sudden this race has been blown wide open. Craig is only 5 seconds behind the Haas, and he is going to lose more than 5 seconds in this battle. I'm almost adamant of that fact. Craig has a 5.8 second gap to Delange. I feel like he's going to make that up. Depends how slow Mike is on those tyres though. If those softs really are dying, then, I mean, a Haas on super soft with a broken front wing may well be faster. Who knows? We'll have to see, but I think Craig is certainly going to be, as Spud has blown out those tyres. He's going to go onto a set of ultras, I'd imagine, for the final 8 laps. Go for a blast. Yeah, there we are. GP up to 6 now. Kilo up to 7th. Is Notorious going to get that 8th place? He is. Key for the championship, that really is important. Now Craig is going to want to be hunting Delange down. If he can beat Delange, he might just hold on to a championship hope. If Mike doesn't outscore him by more than 4 points, which I think is going to be the case. It's so hard to tell really until the race finishes what is going to happen with these guys, and it looks like, actually, unbelievably, Delange with a broken front wing is faster than both Craig and Mike. Craig is not gaining, in fact he's lost a 10th on this lap, and Delange has caught Mike by 1.4 seconds. That is absolutely incredible. Delange is driving an absolutely fantastic race to hold this pace up. Mike's softs are really, really going off, and he's got 8 laps to defend yet. I think we could be seeing a victory for Delange here, and I really don't want to curse him, but he's looking in a great position. If he can keep that front wing damage in control, if he can get that Mercedes, if he can reel him in through the first chicane. Mike not going quickly through there. I'm actually going to look a little bit down the field because Sheepy and Kilo are in a battle here. We've got the Haas hunting the Williams down. Tactics has made his way back up to 4th. Delange is 7/10 behind Mike. Mike's soft must be absolutely destroyed. I'm going to go with these guys. They're right on board again with the Haas. And it looks like perhaps the one-stop strategy that I was thinking might have been the superior strategy here is not paying off. Which really, really surprises me, actually. I was really expecting a lot of one-stops here. And for the 2-stop to really not be a particularly viable strategy, but alas, I was proven wrong here, it would seem, as Delange now is within DRS range of Mike. It's only half a second. Kilo has passed Sheepy in the final sector. Great move that must have been. 0.4 of a second. He's not quite close enough to gain enough time. As Delange comes through the first chicane, Spud's its fastest laps at 18.2. He's hunting Notorious down for 8th place. Mike is holding on to the lead for another lap. He's got 6 to go at the end of this one. Through the middle sector, this is where a car with a broken front wing should struggle, but it would appear that a car with 20 lap old softs is struggling more, which really, really does surprise me. We go into the final sector. They're nose to tail, it's so close. Can Delange get the exit off of this final corner to make the move? He goes quite cautious on entry. There you can see his driver making an adjustment. I imagine that was to fuel mixture. He's going to open DRS not quite close enough again. 3.5 tenths is a little bit too far, I think. It's not worth going for the dive bomb with so far left in the race, sorry. Mike moving a little bit. It's probably alright because Delange wasn't quite close enough to really be making a viable challenge for the lead, but he could be here. Under 3 tenths of the gap, 2.5 tenths. He's going to look up the inside, no move to be made there. Mike has gone full 4-wheel drift through that corner. Oh, Delange looking for the cutback, didn't quite get it. This is actually holding him up because Craig is now 4.1 seconds down. He's gained a couple of seconds in the past few laps. So depending on how much time Delange is cost behind Mike, could mean we see Craig coming into contention in the last couple of laps in this race. Heading towards the final sector, not many more times will these drivers do that. Delange taking a really tight line to get the run through that final section of the stadium section, and here he comes out through the final corner. He's closer than ever, 2.5 tenths when they cross the line this time. He's gained a tenth every lap now for the past 3 or 4 laps. He's tapped up right underneath the Mercedes rear wing. Can he make a move? He moves to the outside. Mike brakes really early. Oh, and he smashes into the side of him. That is quite strange. What has happened there? And that has allowed Craig into second, and that mistake from Mike may well have just cost him his title shot. He braked so early and then came clattering into the side of the Haas. I have no idea what's gone on there. Craig now only 2.7 seconds behind Delange, and I feel like actually Craig could be challenging for the win in the final few laps. Watching it back on the replay, let's look. Mike brakes early and then he just hits the side of the Haas and crashes out. I'm really not sure what's gone on there. Craig 2.3 seconds, he's gaining on the Haas now. This is incredible. Notorious has been dropped to 9th position, so spun in 8th, so the championship leader only going to score 2 points here by the looks of things. Reminiscent of his Italian Grand Prix, which was an absolute disaster. And indeed his Australian Grand Prix, he only scored 5 points there. Really a pair of races back to back that really blew this championship wide open, with Mike and Delange both taking strong finishes at those races. Craig 2.4 seconds behind. I'm going to look now because Jamie Met is all over the back of Mike. Well, I say all over the back, he's about 6 tenths down. And Mike may have damage, or his tyres may well just be that bad that actually he has now lost all semblance of pace, and is just going to be struggling around for the final few laps. He's got the Ferrari all over the back of him. Jamie has driven extremely well this race, I'm not going to lie. Really, really solid drive to come from 14th to now be battling for 4th place. And this really is going to help Ferrari's championship battle with Haas for the Constructors' title. Mike took an incredibly weird line through there, really struggling on his tyres now, I think. He's going to look up the inside, is Jamie. No move to be made there, but Mike hit that curb quite hard. Jamie looking for any way through. Oh my word, both these drivers somehow overshooting a 30 mile an hour left-hander. Out onto the start-finish straight they come then. Half a second between them, and he's got Kilo behind him as well, does Jamie. So the Haas drivers looking for a solid Constructors result, and the Ferrari's just trying to reduce that damage as much as possible, I think. As we head into the second sector for the third to last time, we have got this Ferrari all over the back of the Mercedes. It's been a valiant effort from Mike, but he really is struggling now. Taking a little look down the field, really unfortunate for Hulkenberg and Lampop there in 11th and 12th, having qualified 4th and 5th, and incredibly strong qualifying for those two ended after, well, a matter of meters really. It didn't even get to turn into the first corner before their races were completely ruined. Disappointing to see that their races did not turn out as they wanted. Looking at this battle though, oh, and Jamie nearly spins, oh dear, turns across the front of the Haas off Kilo, and then there's all sorts of contact as Sheepy gets involved in the Williams. Jamie Met losing the rear end. It looked like a perfect opportunity for Kilo to just slip one up the inside. Did not turn out that way, as allowed Sheepy to pass him for 6th position. I think he's going to go for it up the inside here. Oh, Jamie breaks really early. Sheepy gains a lot there. I think actually Jamie's tyres are starting to die. Hulkenberg pits there. He's probably going to go for a fastest lap, I guess. Go for the ultras, go for fastest lap. Jamie Met still hounding that Mercedes, second to last time. Then we head into the second sector through this double right-hander. Oh, loses a little bit of time as Kilo changes the gear too low. Oh, loses the rear end as well, touches the grass, and I feel like his contention, that's a some time penalty for Jamie there. I feel like his contention for this position is slowly slipping away as he makes these mistakes, as his tyres die, and he's got Spud up behind him as well, who's on the ultra softs. So Spud could be in contention for this 5th place here, which would be quite something. Jamie Met looking up the inside of the Ferrari. There's a touch of contact as this front wing just glances the rear tyre. Excuse me. And this is really opening up opportunities for the cars behind to snatch these positions away. As we are now heading on to the final lap for these drivers. Jamie has dropped a little way off the back of Mike. He's got Sheepy and Kilo up behind him. As they head there, Sheepy not gaining anything, but Kilo not with DRS open. Interesting, that was strange. He's opted not to open the flap on the rear wing. Here we go then, Sheepy could have a go at the back of the Ferrari here for 5th place. Is he going to give it a go? A last ditch manoeuvre? He does not opt for it. Will he ever go into the final sector? Who knows, as Mike makes a big mistake. It's a huge kick of oversteer on those worn tyres. These guys all following each other around. Don't think there's many passing places left on this circuit now. Only really the right-hander into the final sector. As one of these drivers makes a mistake, it's the only way I can see a pass being made. Jamie runs so hot through that section of corners. What a great run he got there. Didn't actually extend the circuit too much. Actually did just get a really, really great run. The fireworks go off as Delange takes the win with Craig in second. Great result for those two, with their championship rivals mired down 4th and 9th. Is Jamie going to get a 4th position? I don't know what the penalty situation is. There's a yellow in sector 3 as Kilo appears to have crashed. Mike Sheepy is 7th, Notorious is 8th. Kilo did indeed crash. Kilo spun at the exit of the final few corners after such a strong race, going from 10th up to 5th. He's going to only get 9th. That puts Notorious into 8th. So Spud gets a fantastic 6th position. Great drive from him. Malampop and Dan Gibbon. Malampop gets a point, so despite his race being ruined, he still picks up the final points-paying position. Dan Gibbo is 11th. Oh my word, as his ghost car murders Mike. Is the Red Bull of Hulkenberg going to get fastest lap? He comes across. No, he is not. Does not manage it in the end. His driver's apparently really happy with that. And we're going to have the podium celebration, the unique podium celebration, out in the final sector of the circuit. And there you are, that is the win for Delange, with Craig in second. Great drives from those two. Tactics recovering from that spin behind Sheepy to finish third. Profiting off the mistakes of others. One would presume there, the bits of contact and things with Mike, etc. Really playing into the hands of these three drivers. And there you go. My word, look at those penalties. Delange, the only driver without penalties, takes the win from Craig in second. That's 12 points for him. That is 10 points for Craig. I'm going to take a screenshot of those results, and I'm going to figure out what the championship situation is like. Notorious only scores 3 points for that position, so he is on 64 points now. Delange moves on to 69 points. He takes 5-point lead over Notorious. Mike with the 4th place takes home 7 points, putting him on 63, so that's just behind Notorious. And Craig with the 8th place, with the 2nd place with 10 points, puts him on 58. So he is still within championship contention. There you go, as we head into the final round at Singapore next time out. Next week, we will be here for round 12, the final round of the Invictus Racing League Formula 2 Championship. I hope you can join us for that, as we have 4 drivers heading into the final round, all within a race win of each other. It is sure to be a fantastic Singapore Grand Prix. The chance of rain, the challenge of a street circuit is sure to catch a few drivers out. So I hope I will see you then. I have been your commentator, H Racing Green, once again, and until the next time, good night.